afternoon, everyone, and welcome back. So we have looked at Golden Eagle shotguns before, but I thought I'd bring these out because the range has landed with us again, so all these are back. But I thought I'd pick my favourite out, go through it, and we'll have a little chat about it. Obviously, there are plenty of variants out there, so if this isn't quite what you're after, there are many, many different ones with the full stocks, longer barrels, twin barrel, all that kind of stuff, different pumps and everything like that. So if this one doesn't fit the sort of spec that you're after, there probably is one out there, and even ones that are even more tricked up than this. But out of the set, I think this is probably my favourite, purely because it's sleek, simple, has a couple of the cool features on it, but also this thing is just devastating when it comes to CQB. Probably one of the best out of the set, unless you're after something that is completely chopped down and doesn't even have a stock on it. So if you do have any questions on this or any of the Golden Eagle shotguns, by all means drop it down below and we'll try and get the information to you as quickly as possible. So what are these and why are you wanting to add them to your armory? So these are gas shotguns rather than being spring or anything like that. There is no spring to fight against when you're racking them. Very, very easy to cock, and they are obviously gas operated. So again, they punch hard. They have multiple shot options. So CQB wise, these are absolutely incredible. And even people running these outdoors have claimed some very, very good ranges out of them. So we'll start at the front and work our way back. If you want me to elaborate on anything, just drop your question down and we'll get to you. So obviously there's no thread on the front of these. Very rarely do you find that in shotguns, but the little cap at the front here does come off. You can take that off and you can fit one of the shells that comes with it. This one in particular does come with 3 shells. Some of the other ones might come with 1, some come with more, but it is different from model to model. So check the description when you're looking at which one you want. So with 1 shell in, you can then put 1 on the end. It's quite useful in case that you're not running this as a primary. So you can have a shell in there, you can have 1 in the front, you're running this as a sniper backup. They are very, very popular sniper backups because they are relatively easily to wield, sling up and everything like that. So you can put an extra shell in there, meaning that you don't have to add it to a rig or anything. You've got 2 shells in the platform already, meaning that it's just good to go if you need it at a rapid deployment. Reaper, one of our regulars, that's a lovely length. Is she heavy? They are relatively heavy, especially with these type of stocks on them. So the normal variants with sort of the standard 870 with the plastic rear stock, they're a little bit lighter. They do have the gas tank in there, whereas this being the M4 adapter, the actual stock tube is the gas tank. There's a lot more metal work. So this one in particular is about, I think it's about 2.2 kilos. So again, it is a lump of metal, so it is going to weigh quite a bit. But again, it is quite wieldy. It does have the stock on it that when this thing's shouldered, it does balance out quite nicely. Again, everything on it is metal apart from the stock and the grip. So you've got a metal barrel, a metal pump, metal lower tube, metal receiver, the rail's metal, the gas chamber at the back is obviously metal, meaning that it is a heavy beast with it only being quite short. So this thing is it's about 65 centimeters long when it's collapsed like that, stretching out to, I think it's about 74, 75 centimeters when it's out and ready to go. You do have 6 positions on that stock, so it is wieldy and good for pretty much anyone. But yeah, one of the things that will be different depending on which models as well. So you could get the standard 870 model that does have the plastic normal stock and the plastic front might actually be lighter than this one. This is just purely because this has a lot of metal work with the M4 style stock. Sonny Hutchinson's on YouTube. Do you have the smaller ones? This is one of the smallest, but if you're on about one that doesn't even have a stock on it, you can get almost what they're calling a breacher type. So the actual gas chamber is in the grip, so it is a very, very small gas chamber, but if you remove the stock, that's pretty much the smallest one. But as in for barrel length, this is probably the shortest one, because I think even the breacher one has a slightly longer barrel, so they're pretty much going to be about the same. So another question, can you paint them pink though? We won't, but you're more than welcome to do it yourself. So two-tone options on these are red, green, and blue. Unfortunately, pink is not an option at the moment. So the shot options on this. So it's 3 separate barrels, and it is a fixed hop, so the hop isn't adjustable at all. That doesn't really come into effect when it's coming to shotguns. The sort of spread and the BBs coming out, having 3 BBs, it gives you a decent amount of accuracy. So when you charge it, the shell door comes back, and there's a little slider with a 3 and a 6 on it. Having it on whichever one you want, you can either fire 3 at a time or 6 at a time. So every time you pump and fire a shot, there's either 3 BBs come out or 6. With the shells, I'll grab the shell out. So the shells themselves are your normal plastic airsoft shotgun shells, and you fill these with a speed loader from the top, and they hold 30 BBs, as if I knew the question was coming up already. So how many shots do you get out of a shell? If you've got it set on 5, you'll get 10 shots. If you've got it set on 6, you'll get 5 shots out of each shell. So there's 30 BBs in each one, and you're just dividing that by how many BBs are coming out the barrel at once. So each shell is going to give you between 5 and 10 shots. And again, this one in particular has 3 shells in the box, and they're pretty easy to get hold of, are the shells. Coming to the top, we do have a short bit of Riz on this. Some of the variants do not have any optic mounting capabilities on them. There's only a few that do, but some of them it goes all the way down the barrel. So we do have a little bit of Riz on there. Something like a holographic or a little T1, little doctor sight will be awesome on this. But coming to the back, you have what's called a ghost style sight. So you will notice there's no front pin or anything. It is simply a ring allowing you to just put a circle around the target and put BBs roughly where you want. Obviously, the idea of these is not to be amazingly accurate. You're just trying to put a lump of BBs in a certain space. Especially good for CQB, someone coming through the crux of a door or anything like that. You've got 3 or 6 BBs coming down range, hitting that doorway, you're pretty much guaranteed a hit. Please do be aware though, I know these have been out a while, the TM variant's been out a long time as well. There's a lot of CQB sites out there that do restrict the 6 shot. It is quite a lot of BBs to put down range at short range, so if you are going to CQB, the 3 rounds is totally fine. If you're outdoors and you're trying to punch through a bush line, or you're trying to get someone in cover, flick it to that 6 and just give them what for, because it's going to be able to punch through them that bit of cover quite easily. Coming to the back here, so there is a safety system on here. So just there, it's a little thumb safety, allowing you to lock the trigger out and keep it safe. So if this thing is slung or ready to go, you can keep it safe and not accidentally discharge whilst this thing's in a safe position. The grip itself is polymer. It is the reinforced, very, very durable polymer. I do quite like the square style grip that's on this one. Some of the other ones have sort of ergonomic grips, especially the one where the gas chamber is in there. It needs to be a bit bigger to hold a bit more. The little ring up at the top here, there's a matching one on the other side. These are your QD sling points, so you can simply get the little QD button type sling, click that in there and you're good to go. And then we have the CTR style rear stock. Again, if this stock isn't quite what you're after, any M4 style stock, so if you're in the PTS, the EPS style stock or anything like that, you can whip the actual stock off and throw a different one on, but be aware that the stock tube does have to stay, because you can see by the little gold button there, that is where the gas fills, and obviously that's where your chamber is. Can you change the stocks? So the actual plastic bit itself, the bit that slides, you could change that. The stock itself, probably not. If you're not wanting this style stock, don't get this platform, is the sort of end of it. If you're wanting something different, there are many different variants out there, full stocks, the sort of more rifle style stocks and everything like that, and just simple pistol grip versions. So just go for the variant that you want the most parts of, and you'll be good with that. The actual stock itself, you could quite easily take that off and put an EPS or a PTS style stock if you wanted something a bit chunkier, a bit heavier. I do quite like the CTR style on here. It keeps that sort of slim vibe going with it. It is quite a comfortable stock. It keeps it a little bit more lightweight than one of the bigger ones as well. So if there's any other questions on here, please do drop them down. We will get to it. I'll just cover a few more bits and bats. So we do recommend 2s or 2.5s with this, especially if you're running in CQB. You are putting 3 BBs downrange at a time, so these things do hit quite hard. Coming out of the box, these things are about 300 FPS, and that's on 3 BBs. So these have been known to suck a little bit when you get hit with them, so just be aware, and that's probably one of the reasons why the 6 round isn't normally allowed at CQB, but outdoors when there's a bit more range involved, it's usually okay. Mentioned the QD points at the back, and again, one of the very big things I did notice with this when we got it out of the box again. Normally with the Springer ones, the first press opens the door, and then you press it again, and the shell just drops to about there, and you've got to sort of grab it and pull it out. What they've done with these is there's another arm inside the top, so when you do actually pull this, it does actually push the shell all the way out, so you're not having to get in there and pull it out. You can pull that switch, and it will drop the shell out, allowing you to use your other hand to grab a shell very, very easily, and probably load it a lot faster. If you notice, the trigger guard is slightly sort of ramped. It is specifically that way to help you slide a new shell in there. A little bit of speed loading, and these things will be very, very cool, and you'll have a lot of fun with them. As I was saying earlier, there are tons and tons of different variants. So if you're not wanting the M4 stock, there is the no stock variant, like a breacher. There's the standard 870 rifle style that has the gas chamber in the back. There are variants that don't have rails on. There's ones with iron sights. There are versions, the super obnoxious tactical one has a barrel double this length, has a load tube that matches that, has rails going all the way down the top, so if you're wanting to put pec boxes, sights, optics, anything like that on it, it is very, very cool. But again, it's focused more towards a primary, whereas this has that primary function if you're in CQB, but again, quite easily usable as a secondary style platform. Throw a dot sight on this and you could run around all day. I know a lot of people that do run these as primaries, even in woodlands, so it is really, really cool. Reaper, what gas was she tested on? The gas was either V6 or ultra rare. I can't remember, I did it this morning, but it's around that sort of mid-level. So the ultra rare sort of V6 style gas is giving you about 300 FPS, and again, with 3 rounds coming out of this, it is a really, really good power, especially with what is essentially quite a short set of barrels. So it is 3 separate barrels in here, so you are going to get a group in it. It's not like some shotguns where it's a single barrel and loads of BBs going down the same one. There are 3 separate barrels in here. Each barrel gets a BB or 2 if you've got it on the other setting, and it gives you a very, very good grouping. But yeah, very, very impressed with them. Love to get one of these on a range and out in a site and properly test these. They are a lot of fun, especially the big sort of super tactical ones if you're wanting something really obnoxious and has rails all over it, optics everywhere, and you're wanting something that's sort of a bit more brash. But again, you are getting 3 shells with this one, so each shell gets you either 5 or 10 shots, depending which setting you've got on it. So those that are just joining us, you can swap this between 3 or 6 rounds with each trigger pull. And again, these are gas, so you're not having to fight against that spring. But yeah, how much gas does she hold and use? This one probably does hold the most. When I was filling it up, I didn't have to fill it all the way up, but the gas chambers vary. So you have the one that has a pistol-style gas chamber. It is quite small. The pistol grip-style one probably holds a little bit more than your average pistol mag, so you're going to get a relatively decent amount of shots out of it. This one, the entire thing is a gas chamber, and even when I had my variant of this, the amount of gas that these things hold, it's more than you're going to need for the amount of shells. I think you'll probably get 30-ish shots out of a gas chamber before you start seeing the FPS start to drop. That doesn't mean it's going to stop and just not run anymore. You are going to just keep going gas-wise. It's a ridiculously big gas chamber, especially on these ones. The rifle style one that has the removable gas chamber, they're a little bit smaller, but again, you're still going to get loads and loads of shots out of it. An exact number I don't know, because again, with it being gas, it's going to change between temperature, weight BBs and everything like that, depending whether or not you're trying to rapid fire these things. It's going to use a bit more gas, and again, the cooldown, if this thing starts to cool down, it's going to use more gas every time you fire it. But yeah, as for compatibility wise, anything that goes with other gas shotguns is totally fine as well. All shells as well, so there are Golden Eagle shells, there's Neutral shells, there's the sort of cheaper shells as well, but it is all compatible and will just simply slot in here and be good to go. But these are all back with us. Very excited. They did not last long last time, so if you want one, jump on it. And I think every variant is currently on its way back as well. But that has been it for today. So this has been the M8878 model. There are loads of different ones. And I do believe the drum mags are on their way back as well. So if you do take this door off, you can drop an electric drum mag in this and have a load more fun as well, rather than running shells. So that is also an option, especially in CQB. You'll make lots of friends doing it that way. But this has been the Golden Eagle gas shotguns. Very happy to get them back. If we've missed your question or you want to know more, drop us a message on Instagram and we'll try and get to you as quickly as possible. But if that's it for today, thanks for joining us, and I'll see you in a bit. Bye.